everybody, and welcome to Community Connections. I'm Marnie Yule, your host. Glad you're joining us back after 2 months. And, I really don't know if we were running the last show we recorded on May 19th all this time, so you've had tons of reruns. Tons of reruns going on, but everybody's life's been a little different, and we are happy to be back. And joining us, my first guest is Raquel Gardner. She's the Deputy Director at Heritage Park Zoological Sanctuary, who brought our new little friend, Pancake Tortoise. But Raquel, hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good, thank you.
Good. I'm going to keep him from diving off the table here. Just tell us about the zoo. You're slowly reopening, getting back to some of the programs you had prior to slowing down during, those months.
Sure.
But you've been open.
Yes. So we have been open this entire time. We are considered an essential business, and we think it has been. We've really become not only a sanctuary for the animals, but I think a sanctuary for our community as well. So we've had people coming out in limited numbers over the past couple of weeks, but we've made some changes. We've done, obviously increased our level of cleaning and disinfection. We've closed our playgrounds and our water play area, and we still have that closed for right now. And we have taken off our timed feedings just to limit the amount of people congregating, because that's always a big crowd pleaser and attracts a good size crowd, and we wanted to limit that. But otherwise, we've been remaining open, and people can come out and enjoy the animals, walk the grounds, getting a little bit of exercise, even enjoy our events area, our lawn. It's been fun just to see people coming out and doing their own personal little picnics out on our lawn. So we have been a really fun place to
jump off
during this time.
I'm watching going, Raquel, he's going to jump off. Okay. There he is. Is this the type of habitat they like?
Yeah, so this is a pancake tortoise that I brought today, and they're a little bit unique from tortoises that we normally see. If you can notice, he's much flatter, and that's because they live in rocky outcroppings in Africa. They can be found in Kenya and in Tanzania, and it's kind of a scrubby area with lots of rock formations, and these guys have come up with a kind of a different way of surviving. Their shell is a lot flatter. It has a lot more holes in it, and so it makes it lighter. And the other thing that it does is it's much more flexible. And so what happens is these guys, instead of carrying their protective layer with them like most tortoises do, they seek these rocky outcroppings and will wedge themselves in there in order to protect themselves.
Their coloring is so similar to what you might find there, the rocky outcroppings.
Exactly. And so
they can hide very well.
Exactly. Nice level of camouflage for them. And then once they wedge themselves in there, they're very hard to get to. So where other animals kind of carry their home and carry their protective fortress, these guys will find these outcroppings and then kind of wedge themselves in there to make sure that they are safe.
Now, is that more of a soft shell?
It's still a hard shell, but it's a little bit more flexible. It's a little thinner. But it's not going to be as sturdy and as durable as other tortoises. And so it does need those rocky outcroppings really to keep themselves safe. So they're not going to venture really far away from those rocky outcroppings because they want to be able to get there. And one of the things you'll see is they're pretty fast versus other tortoises. They're considered the fastest tortoise because they're going to try and run into those rocky outcroppings whenever they need to. So compared to other tortoises, they could win a race.
So actually, and you notice that Raquel brought the rocks with her to show what those where they would, their environment, where they would live.
Yeah, they would normally hide out in there. They normally eat, vegetation just like most other tortoises.
We've got lunch here.
We can put that in front, see if he'll
See
be interested.
Here you go. Does he have a name, or she?
Not yet. So this is one of our newer collection animals, and of course, because it is a pancake tortoise, the keepers have been floating the idea of buckwheat. So, so we will see what we land on in terms of a final name. But he's been a really great example of just how different animals choose different lifestyles in order to succeed. So they are definitely a different path than most tortoises take because they find the best advantage for themselves of where they live and how to survive. and those things went out. And this little guy has found a new way to be a tortoise.
So what kind of enclosure are they in?
So this little guy, because he is so small, we actually have him in our gift shop area. We have a small exhibit display of reptiles in our gift shop, which is open now, which we're really excited to have visitors back in there so they can come in into our gift shop and see our little pancake tortoise anytime right now.
So you're also now the zoo's always been open because if you feed the animals, people are welcome to come. Like you said, you enjoy watching the families get out in sunshine and outdoors and picnic. But you're bringing some of your camps back
Yes.
slowly, along with Zoo by Moonlight. I noticed was been advertised. So some of those signature events that you've had are slowly bringing back. Will you be limiting the attendance on that in order to comply with what we're looking at as physical distancing these days?
So Zoo Camp, we did
ate it
make.
all.
He did. You can give him another piece over there, see if he'll munch a little bit more. We did limit the size of our Zoo Camp this year in order so that we could maintain good social distancing. So we have limited numbers in each week of camp. So if you go online to our website, you can see which camps are still available and still open. And then we have 8 weeks of camp scheduled. So look on our website fairly quickly because we have limited spaces open for Zoo
Right.
Camp. And then Zoo by Moonlight, we're really excited to have back because it's really just having the zoo open at a different time of day and be able to see a different set of animals out and active. So we have June 5th coming up for Zoo by Moonlight, and then we'll have another one July 4th, so that should be pretty fun.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, so we're
yes.
excited about that. So it's a great way to come out and see the animals in a different time of day.
And any options for naming him? Are you asking for suggestions?
We may. You can always look at our website or our Facebook posts and check out and see if there's anything new going on with
I
our
was
with
just
our
getting
collection.
one little piece being delicate. She throws the whole thing on there. It's all yours. It's all yours. So what is the website for the zoo again, Raquel?
So www.heritageparkzoo.org, or you can always call us at 928-778-4242 to get more information about all the different activities that we have going on at the zoo.
And I know we talked about people being at stay-at-home order. Well, since that has expired and you're looking for opportunities and things to do, the Heritage Park Zoological Sanctuary is awesome, and there's memberships available. You can take your family anytime, and enjoy discounts in the gift shop and chance to see all of the animals and visit with even the new collections here.
the new little
At any
guys.
time, we could adopt the tortoise and have him in the
Absolutely.
chamber because it would make a great mascot. He's quiet. He eats like the rest of us. All right, Raquel Gardner, thank you for joining us. Heritage Park Zoological Sanctuary and soon to be named Pancake Tortoise here. Short break. We'll be right back here on Community Connections.
How do I take the 2020 census? In March 2020, every address in the country will receive an invitation to complete a simple questionnaire. And there are 3 ways to respond. Number 1, do it online. Number 2, call by phone. Number 3, send it by mail. For those who don't respond, a census taker from your community will follow up and assist you. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back to Community Connections. As you see, we are practicing our physical and social distancing here in the studio, one guest at a time, and nobody's sitting around in the green room ahead of time, but just to take those precautions, and we're very conscious about that, and something that's on our mind all the time. But also, in spite of COVID-19, there's other things that are on our mind. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Julianne Ryland, who is the new breast surgeon for YRMC. And I welcome you. I call her Dr. Julie. Welcome and glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful.
It's good to have you. TV here. It's our show. And I've been taking her around and introducing her because as a breast cancer survivor, it's so important that our surgeons are recognized and our community understands that we have such amazing surgeons, physicians, people who care about us in our community. So COVID-19's kind of taken over the world, but really breast cancer hasn't gone away. And that's why I asked Dr. Julie to come and join us, not only to introduce her to everybody, but also to kind of talk about what else is going on, what we've been doing, and that's never out of our minds.
Right. Well, and a lot of people always ask me, how do I avoid getting breast cancer? What can I do? Because, well, first of all, everybody thinks it's family related. And only 10% of women who get breast cancer have a family history for breast cancer. So the 90% of women who get breast cancer get it randomly. And there are things you can do with your lifestyle that help improve your risks. And tying into COVID-19, those very same things that you can do to help your risk for breast cancer also help you be the strongest and best you can be should you get sick with COVID-19. So they tie together. And they also help you with your heart risks and your diabetes risks. And so that's what I want to talk about.
Wow. Something that'll take care of all those things. I want to hear it.
Okay. Number one, exercise.
I knew she was going to say that. I just knew she was going to say that.
Yes. So specifically for breast cancer, to reduce your risk for breast cancer, women need to walk briskly at least an hour a day. That's a lot. You can do other activities, and the studies showed that while walking is good for everyone, and there's good for a lot of different diseases and to prevent them, but for breast cancer, it's actually an hour a day walking at a very good pace where your heart rate is getting up. That's really very helpful. But for heart disease, for arthritic changes, there's so many things that walking will do for you. And now for COVID, it's almost like who knows who's going to get sick, right?
Right.
So how can you be the best prepared should you get sick? It's like preparing for a marathon. You want to be in your best physical condition.
Right.
So you get out and you walk, you breathe in that fresh air, and you do it where you're kind of a little breathless. So not so that you're going to die, right? We don't want anybody doing that. And at first, if it's just a block, it's a block. That's fine.
Right.
Do that a couple of days, and then go a little bit further and a little bit further. Push yourself to go just that little bit extra. And it can be biking, it can be walking, it can be swimming. Swimming might be tough because of some of the pools are closed and all that, but exercise is so important for all diseases.
But you say exercise, but you specifically say walking, which is very easy to do at any time, in any place.
Exactly.
You don't need any special equipment, maybe throw on a pair of tennis shoes.
Right. So there are no excuses. No excuses.
Well, I got a dog that looks at me and says, you have no excuse, take me out.
And then the other thing is your diet. And
I knew she was going to say that too.
that also really ties in with COVID-19 and the meat shortage.
Oh.
Now, studies show that Americans eat way too much meat. And meat, especially processed. Now, in 2015, the World Health Organization classified meat as a type 1 carcinogen. So not processed meat. So bacon, hot dogs, sausages, all of that is now considered a carcinogen. The more we eat of that.
Bacon?
Sorry. Yep. So decreasing our meat consumption, and they also found that we're supposed to have 3 servings of red meat a week. We eat more of that. Americans do. And with the meat shortage, guess what? We're going to be forced to eat less, and that's actually going to improve our health. And when you substitute plant-based products like beans, legumes, what are some of the other ones? Actually, broccoli has a lot of protein. You can still get plenty of protein in your diet and not have to eat meat. And the magic number is 7 grams of protein for every 20 pounds that you weigh. So if the average person, 150 pounds, it's about 50 grams of protein a day. Everybody's always worried, well, if I don't eat meat, I'm not going to get my protein. You're going to get your protein, but you can get it from plant sources, plenty of them available, and they're cheaper than meat.
Right. This also goes along, too, with even aging, and as, you know, you get older, you stay better health by exercising and watching your diet too.
Exactly. And Americans aren't very good at that. We like our
terrible.
food, we like our processed food, and we want it now.
Quickly, yeah.
Yes.
I think one of the things this has happened with the COVID-19 and the stay at home and everybody, you kind of got out of that habit of the quick
Right.
fast food and all of that,
Right.
you know, and people were home, and so maybe this was kind of a training to go on now to cut back on a lot of that.
Exactly. And the meatless Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays, you know, especially now, I don't want people to panic because there's no meat in the store. It's okay. You're going to be
Right,
fine.
right.
Just find alternatives to that meat, and it's actually going to improve your health.
And this, you can find all this on the web, right? Is there any
It's out
particular?
there. In fact, CNN just had an article that they published yesterday about the meat shortage and how it's really going to be better for Americans because we're going to decrease our meat consumption. And increased meat is attributed to heart disease, diabetes, and cancers. So cutting it back is really going to help you live a longer life and a healthier state.
And it's cutting it back. It's not wiping it out of your diet altogether.
There are people who do that. I'm one of them. So, but if everybody just ate a little bit less of
Right,
the meat
right.
and ate a little bit less of that processed food, and then substituted with green leafy vegetables, fresh fruits, go to the farmers market. They're wonderful, and their process where they're doing the drive-through. That's
Right.
worked great. We go every week.
Well,
so
Prescott Valley Farmers Market is open every Sunday from 8 to 2, located by Buffalo Wild Wings, no, by the bank over there in that
Okay.
area. So just to let you know that they're open every Sunday, and I go by there a lot.
Good plug.
To get my vegetables too, because I've kind of started pushing more of that into my diet
Right.
too, and not being so lazy.
And we want to support our local farmers.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important because the food that you eat is being shipped 1,500 miles, and that's a lot.
Right.
Eat local. Eat the stuff that's
And
coming
it was
local.
picked a while ago
Right,
and shipped,
right.
you know, while it was still not ripe, and then by the time it gets
Exactly.
here, the taste is all different.
It
And you
is.
might find you enjoy something that you didn't like before. I got my own little garden now going, and I'm even growing Brussels sprouts, which
Oh,
most
wow.
people hate. But,
Yeah, no, I love
you know,
'em.
I'm figuring they're going to be natural, they're going to be from my hands, and I'm going to try and give them a try. So, backyard garden, something to do for this summer. Dr. Julian Ryland, so much going on.
Yes.
Bring it back, we'll talk about it, but good advice for all of us as we age, but looking at decreasing our risk for breast cancer or any other health disease.
Exactly. It all fits. Isn't that wonderful?
Great to have you. Thank you. We'll be right back.
What is the 2020 census? Every 10 years, the census records everyone living in this country. It's written in the Constitution and comes in a questionnaire that counts everyone who lives at your address on April 1st. The data can be used to inform funding for services like fire stations, schools, clinics, and representation that affect your community. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Hello and welcome back to Community Connections. Well, it is only fitting that I start this new series of shows with where we left off on the last show. So no, it's not a rerun. Jerry Denniston, Yavapai College Small Business Development Center, is joining me once again. You were on the show March 19th.
Wow.
I believe was the last time we recorded Community Connections before everything went into shutdown. And
2 months.
It's absolutely 2 months. So, Jerry, you and I have been working very, very hard this past 2 months, providing information, resources to our business community. Kind of give us a recap of what's been going on and where we are now.
Okay, so from March 19th,
the thing that happened is the first round of funding, debt relief funding, right? And that was exhausted by April 27th. That was just, the SBA was just overwhelmed with applications. So that closed. And
Now,
then-
is this the EIDL money?
This was the EIDL
The emergency?
money, right,
Yeah.
emergency economic injury, EIDL.
Disaster
Economic
loans.
Injury Disaster Loan.
Right.
I've almost forgotten about it because next came along was the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program.
Right.
And that's been, that was designed really to help with payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So, whereas the EIDL is a 30-year fixed rate loan.
Right.
That you don't have to start paying back for a year. The Paycheck Protection Program is an 8-week loan. It's for 8 weeks of payroll, but it's 2 years at 1% interest. The difference between those two is that the PPP is designed to bring your people back on
Right.
payroll. So if you had to lay people off, rehire them. And that's gone through evolution and changes also.
And we've been through 2 of those.
We're in the second round of funding
round.
on both of these. So the other thing that's happened is while Congress passed another several $1 billion in the second round of funding, the SBA shut the door on idle applications except to small agricultural businesses. And so right now, still, they're sitting on the second round of funding, but they're only allowing small agricultural businesses to apply. Meanwhile, the Paycheck Protection Program has gone through 2 rounds of funding.
Right.
And there's still money available, surprisingly.
Oh, okay.
Still some money available, so we're still encouraging people, please apply for the PPP if you have not. And what we've learned is that so far, they have $513 billion has been approved just for the Paycheck Protection Program. And Arizona has received $8.56 billion of that has gone to Arizona businesses. The other difference with this second round of PPP funding is that the SBA is giving priority to small lenders. So these are lenders with under $1 billion in assets. And the reason is that those are the ones that are going to be lending to the smaller businesses.
Right, thank you.
Versus the large Wells Fargos and B of A's and Chase banks. So we've seen that too. The average loan has been about $110,000. And now what just came out yesterday was new guidance from the SBA on repaying that, or not repaying, but submitting your application for forgiveness.
Right.
So the Paycheck Protection Program is the one that can be forgiven. If you use 75% of those funds on payroll, at least 75%, and you've documented it, and you show third-party documentation like bank statements about how you spent it and that it was spent on payroll, then the entire loan can be forgiven.
Oh, okay.
And that is different from the EIDL because that loan is not forgiven. It is a 30-year fixed rate
Right.
loan.
Right.
You can return the funds. I mean, this is the other thing we're seeing is that some companies that applied early on that really didn't need the money are now beginning to return the funds.
Oh.
And so that's a good thing because now
Right.
there's more money available for the smaller businesses that really do need those funds.
In both the EIDL and the PPP.
Both of those. So if you are one of those businesses, even some smaller businesses that did get the funds, are sitting here going, well, I don't really have the right pay. I can't bring all those people back. I don't have the work for them.
Right.
Do I really need this? Maybe I can survive without it. If you want to return the funds, you can.
No penalty.
No penalty. Write a check, and in the memo portion, just say repayment of PPP or EIDL funds.
Okay.
And there's an address that you can return it to the SBA.
Well, a lot of the people, the businesses that I heard early on when these first came out, were closed. They have not been opening until, well, restaurants last week,
Right.
gyms, nail salons. So now's the time, if you didn't apply because you weren't bringing people back, apply now because you are bringing your people back, and this will take care of that payroll. So the other side of it is those that applied and got it early on and have not been allowed to open. But I hear rumor, this whole part of that's going on in Congress right now, that part of the next phase in the stimulus funding is that it goes from an 8-week to a 24-week period.
So we haven't. yeah.
That's talk.
That's talk, 'cause we haven't received guidance on
I know,
that
and I'm
yet.
waiting for you because I got it from somewhere else, and I heard that the House passed it, but it's still, you know how it is in Congress, things don't move quickly there.
Right.
But that's part of that option. But still, if you're starting to hire back your employees now, apply for it, because that will take care of your payroll as you get up and running. And I know you're going to slowly phase in as business increases for many of them, because not everybody's going to just fly in the doors when you open up. There's still that level of, you know, cautiousness from our community.
Well, and a lot of businesses are opening at half capacity, right?
Exactly.
Restaurants and retail stores and redesigning their space
Exactly.
to accommodate less than 10 people in the store at any given
Absolutely.
time. So you don't need the full complement of workers. But unfortunately, the payroll protection program was designed, the clock started the minute you received the funds. They were
Right.
deposited into your bank account. Now your 8 weeks starts. So you have to start using the funds in
Right.
those 8 weeks. It's possible, as you said, that 8 weeks is going to get extended, or there's going to be some forgiveness on that time period, because Congress is recognizing
that we didn't come out of it as quick as they thought we
didn't
might.
come out that quickly, and
Right.
you know, does it really make sense to bring people back on payroll and have them sit at home and do nothing? You're paying people not to work. And so, you know, we've told businesses, well, think about other creative ways you could put people to work.
Right.
Maybe your restaurant's closed so you don't have the servers. Can you repurpose them? Could they do something else? Could you design a new menu? Could you have them work in other?
Right, because your payroll is taken care of at that point.
Right.
Because you may not have the income, but then you have the people being able to work, that you won't lose them, and they won't be going on unemployment, which is a whole other story. Jerry, a lot of things going on. SBDC, if somebody wants more information, how would they get a hold of you?
They can call our number, which is 928-717-7232. They can also register at yc.edu/SBDC.
Jerry
And-
Denniston is our expert in this. Give her a call. Thank you for joining us and
Thank
starting
you.
off our new series.
Sure, thank you so much.
We'll be right back. Thank you for joining. Well, no, we'll have a good 2 weeks. We'll be back.